Good morning, everyone, and I hope you are fine where you are. The morning is fine, and I thank God for that. In a recent video, I claimed that the finance bill will pass, and yesterday, the Kenyan Parliament proved my hypothesis right. Yesterday, the finance bill was in the second stage of reading, or the second reading, and the MPs voted 176 against 181 to support the bill. That means 176 MPs said yes to the bill, while 81 of the MPs said no to the bill. In the lawmaking process, always when a bill reaches the second reading and it passes, it is very hard for the bill to fail in the latter stages. So obviously there is still the committee stage and the report stage and third reading, which essentially I believe there is nothing that is going to change. The bill will pass, which is very unfortunate for me and many Kenyans who oppose the addition of taxes. Aside from the finance bill, which is a very hot topic today in Kenya, there is a given question I am asking, and I believe many Kenyans join me in asking the same question. Where is Gideon Moi? Where is Gideon Moi? You remember in the just concluded August general elections, Gideon Moi sided with Raila Amolo Odinga and other Oka principles. His political stand costed him, I can say costed him, the Baringo senatorial seat, of which William Cheptumo of UDA won. His political stand, I believe, costed his brother Raymond Moi while vying for Rongai constituency MP, of which Paul Chebor of UDA won. Since the conclusion of elections, Gideon Moi has been absent in the political scene. I don't know whether to say that he has been absent, but I think Gideon Moi has been working in undertones. He has been silently working behind the doors. So many Kenyans are still asking, where is Gideon Moi and what is he doing? If I am not wrong, Gideon Moi has not publicly declared support for the current administration. He has not boldly declared that he supports the current administration. This makes people to wonder, what is he thinking? What is Gideon Moi thinking? Remember, Gideon Moi is not an ordinary Kenyan. He is a political heavyweight, not only in Rift Valley, but in the whole Kenya. If he is quiet, then concerns must be raised of why is he quiet, where is he, what is he doing, what is he planning? So since the conclusion of the general elections, Gideon Moi has been, let me say, conspicuously quiet. Recently, he commented on the invasion of Kenyatta's family Northlands farm. His party also gave a stand on Azimio's protests. But these events and these media releases does not answer our question: where is Gideon Moi and what is he doing? And most importantly, does he support the current administration, that is the Kenya Kwanza administration? I am yet to shock you with another clear and very important hypothesis. I want to claim, and I want to argue, and I want to state categorically that Gideon Moi and KANU are supporting the current administration, that is the Kenya Kwanza administration. And I must emphasize that Gideon Moi is in secret agreement with the current president, that is William Ruto. Why am I saying that Gideon Moi is working with the current administration? Remember, the current KANU Secretary General, that is George Wainaina, emphasized that KANU is in Azimio to stay. He emphasized that KANU has not ditched Azimio for Kenya Kwanza. They are still in Azimio. But two things lead me to conclude that Gideon Moi and KANU are in Kenya Kwanza and are closely working with the current president, President William Samoei Ruto. The first event on was it on March on May, on May 6th, Gideon Moi's son Kigen Moi had a private wedding. This wedding was attended by many people, among them Charles Keter, Amina Mohamed, and the former NMS boss Mohamed Badi. But in this same wedding, a very controversial figure was present. That is the brother to the current president, William Samoei Ruto, David Ruto, and his wife, Carol Ruto. So, I know that is a shock. Gideon Moi's son, Kigen Moi, held a private wedding in Kericho County on May 6th this year. And strikingly, President Ruto's brother, President Ruto's younger brother, that is David Ruto, and his wife Carol Ruto were present. I know private weddings, not all are invited, and selected figures always attend. Basically, I believe friends, close family friends, are always invited to such occasions. David Ruto and his wife Carol Ruto are close friends to Moi's family, if I may say Gideon Moi's family, and that is why they got the invitation to attend the Gideon Moi's private wedding. This event, to me, I believe, was not coincidental. As my brother Lema Queen always says, things in politics always doesn't happen out of mere coincidence. They are always well planned and well executed. David Ruto's appearance in Gideon Moi's private wedding was not out of mere coincidence. It was well planned, well executed, and intended to meet specific political objectives. This appearance was meant to communicate something. to the mere observers and political pundits, David Ruto's appearance in Gideon Moi's private wedding showed that the two families are working together, and if it is a matter of politics, they are on the same page. This first reason makes me to argue and makes me to claim and emphasize that Gideon Moi and KANU are working closely with the current president, William Samoei Ruto. A second development that makes me to conclude that Gideon Moi and KANU are in close talks and complete agreement with the current administration happened on March 2023 this year. What was this development? The Kenya Kwanza administration, or let me say President Ruto's administration, gave Gideon Moi a license to produce geothermal power or electricity. I know some will say that as a Kenyan and as an individual who owns businesses in Kenya, Gideon Moi has a right to seek for licenses in the country. But I tend to believe that government giving you a license to produce electricity, geothermal power, is not an easy thing. No ordinary Kenyan and no ordinary businessman can be granted such a license. Only few who are in closed working relationship with the government can get such licensing. So by the Kenya Kwanza government giving Gideon Moi a license to produce geothermal power in March this year, that makes me to believe and settle the agreement, the argument that Gideon Moi and KANU party are working with UDA or Kenya Kwanza administration. On the same note, still this year, Energy CS, that is Davis Chirchir, visited a geothermal power station or a geothermal power site in Menengai. And this geothermal power station is known as Ocean Energy. And conspicuously, the director of this company is Gideon Moi. Davis Chirchir is a CS in Ruto's government, President Ruto's government. The same CS visited a power station owned by Gideon Moi's son, that is Gideon Moi. So I know. Even ordinarily, with what I have said, you can connect the dots and then conclude that this government is in close ties with Gideon Moi's family. These two events, the Ruto's younger brother, David Ruto, appearing at Gideon Moi's private wedding, and the government, the Kenya Kwanza government, issuing Gideon Moi with a license to produce geothermal power. And at the same time, Davis Chirchir, who is a CS in Kenya Kwanza government, visiting Ocean Energy, where Gideon Ruto is the director, makes me to conclude that Gideon Moi is not in Azimio. Gideon Moi is currently in Kenya Kwanza and closely working with President William Samuel Ruto. With the claim, I dismiss the statements by KANU's Secretary General that KANU is in Azimio to stay. What is happening behind closed doors is that Gideon Moi and KANU are closely working with the current administration, that is Kenya Kwanza. That is why I claim that Gideon Moi is not in Azimio. Gideon Moi is currently in Kenya Kwanza and working with UDA and in close political talks with the current president, William Samuel Ruto. I don't know what you think about the claims I have leveled. Actually, they are not claims, they are facts. These are facts. But I don't know what you think. Do you think Gideon Moi is still in Azimio? Do you think Gideon Moi is still in good talks with Raila Amolo Odinga? Or do you think Gideon Moi is working with Kenya Kwanza, UDA, and President Samuel Ruto? Share your comments or your answers, your responses in the comment section. Watch this video and subscribe for more. Thank you and have a very good day.